This video is all about the silver per hour rates for solo guildless players without premium, all the different ways that you can make silver, how much silver you can expect to make per hour doing these activities, and the overall difficulty experiences required. We're going to just deep dive into all the different ways that you can make silver, because at the end of the day, the best way to make silver is something that you can consistently do, that you find enjoyable and that's fun. I'm going to cover everything that we can do as a solo guildless, non-premium having player. So first, we're going to start with the newest content, the depths. And if you don't know what the depths are, in every town there is this antiquarian's den. And this thing, despite me not being known as a PvP player, and also me being a solo player going into the trio dungeons, I can make about 1 million silver an hour, and I'm going to show you all the details and all the math and all the statistics. But here we have a chest, and this chest actually had more in it, but I accidentally consumed some of the items, some of the silver bags, because I forgot I was recording. So I actually earned maybe 2.4, 2.5 million. And I'm going to go over all the costs and how this works, and how you would make profit doing these dungeons. And we're going to talk about a lot more stuff, so stay tuned for that as well. Alright, so this area's a little noisy, I'm going to leave real quick. But there is a website called killboard-1.com made by a player named Because Ahaha. He streams on Twitch. Anyway, now that I've given him credit, so here is the website, and let me show you what's going on. So yesterday I did, not technically a 2-hour session, but close enough. There was some server downtime in between, but let's count my kills and my deaths. And here's the thing: you don't need to kill people to profit in this. And I'm going to explain what we're looking at. So, here's what I did. I started playing the Sky Strider bow, and I did this with no specialization whatsoever. I'm going to talk about that as well, real quick. So I wanted to see how much fame can I farm on a brand new weapon with no spec at all, and I managed to get it to level 50. I also managed to get enough fame credits to pump this thing to about level 97. Level 96, yeah. I got enough combat fame credits in my 2-hour session, under 2-hour session, to get this to 11.6 million, yeah. So, I was able to 1 to 96 a weapon in 2 hours. But that's not about silver. This video is about silver, Swole. Benji, get back to it. Alright. I'm getting back to it, but let's talk about, you know, what I did and how I did it, alright? And again, all you need is a 5.3 weapon as a new player to have the exact same item power that I had, because I'm just using a 4.4 weapon. It's your item power is limited in this zone. But the first time I pulled the weapon out, I died, and then I managed to get 4 kills. All right, and I'm going to show some of the kills. I got some of the clips. I also went into a dungeon, immediately got jumped by a bear claw guy. Bear paws, excuse me, Quinn. It's not claws, it's paws. Stop calling it claws, okay? Anyway, this double sword guy got me immediately as soon as I joined the dungeon, so that's just a repair bill. Each repair bill, because I'm using 8.4 satchel, is 114,000, but technically it would be less than that if you don't. Got a few more kills, died again to a group of the healer. I don't know why the healer got the last hit. This kill doesn't count because it was a 3-man. I killed one of the 3 men and then died. So we're going to say that I managed to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 kills. And I died 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So while I'm technically killing more than I'm dying, this has nothing to do with the profits whatsoever, because out of all the kills, I only made 200k from the kills, alright? And you can see in that chest, I already had over 2 million. But essentially, all I'm doing, I'm just clearing mob camps and grabbing the chest, and every time that I manage to get a hold of 200,000 silver, I extract, I leave. I get a soul, I leave, I wait near the edges of the map until the upstairs opens up in 15 minutes when you join, and I leave. Sometimes I would open a chest and get 900,000, and this is without premium, by the way. And as soon as I got that, I made sure to like switch all my skills to run abilities. I didn't clear camps anymore. I didn't take any risk. I would just, you know, wander around the outer edges of the map, the perimeter, until the exits opened. I didn't go for souls. I didn't try to PvP anybody. I would just play super elusively and run from every single nameplate I saw. And so, yeah, anytime, you know, I got a big win like that, like 900k, 1 million chest, I would just extract. And if not, if I got 200k, I would still play, but if I got a soul, I would just leave immediately. And that's all you had to do, really. And let me show you some clips. And I'm going to be real lazy and not edit this in. We're just going to, you know, play the clip. So here I am. I'm pulling the mobs. You can see this is just what a mob pull looks like. I'm using the Sky Strider bow, which is not the fastest farming or mob clearing. I wanted to see how fast I could level this weapon up. And again, you can see the fame popping up on the screen there. And killing the mobs. And I'm going to skip ahead because we don't need to watch me kill a mob. But essentially, after you kill the mob, the thing in the middle here pops up with a chest. Also, I spot a player, so let's get to the fight. This is a very fast PvP fight. This guy enters my area. I just dump all the damage I got on him. He instantly dies. He's also a solo player. He had no loot, but I did get a soul, which I turned in for like 50k or something. Now, this next clip is a little embarrassing. I noticed a guy got downed by mobs, also a solo. And I can't clear the mobs in time to execute him, so I tried to do some cheeky stuff like use this helmet to try to execute him, but you can't execute people while in the fog. I didn't know that because I'm still inexperienced with this weapon. So he's healing up and I leave. I'm like, screw this. This guy's going to get up and destroy me, right? But, you know, I end up chasing him for a little while. I'm like, let's fight. He's a solo, and I think I could beat him. And so, again, it's a pretty long chase, but eventually I catch up to him. He tries to slow me down. I just dump on him because I have more movement than he does. I'm able to catch him, and I also have more damage than he does, so he just dies. His name's also Ben. Look at that. He didn't have much. He had like 50k on him or something. All right, so here's an example of a really juicy chest, or in my opinion, a juicy chest. So I cleared the mob camp. I've got a soul for extraction, or I can turn it in, and look, a purple chest. Oh, baby. Right, and then look at that value, 200 to 37,000. It's time to extract. So anytime I get loot like that, I leave, even though I have multiple souls. You can see on the mini map where I was. Okay, that's the Frost Staff fight. Yeah, I'm like right here. There's an extraction right up top here. I could also be greedy. Now I'm gonna be honest. I tried to be greedy. What I did was I ran up here and I dropped the soul. And as I ran back this way, I found a group of 3 chasing me. So what I did was I, you know, swapped skills and ran all the way down here, and then I cut back through here and extracted in these areas. So that's the story. I ended up wasting about 5 to 10 minutes just running from players when I should have just extracted immediately, and it would have saved me time. And sometimes you just get lucky. Like, here's a player that got downed by another player, I assume. I don't know what's going on. Maybe he got down by mobs. I don't know. Maybe he finished a player off, but I used the cloud to drop aggro on the mobs. And then I just doink, and he didn't have any loot on him, but there's a couple souls on the ground. And then you saw at the very end of the clip there was a nameplate to the right that was wounded, and I didn't chase that player because he ran away immediately. So yeah, there's a lot of opportunities in here just going in as a solo. And the risk is as follows: you have a repair bill, but if you don't have an 8-4 satchel or an expensive mount, you're in full 8-4, your repair bill is like 40 to 50,000, so just don't get downed, or don't die, rather. And then other than that, if you have a bunch of stuff in your inventory and players manage to kill you, then you don't get the loot, but it's not like you're losing the loot because it wasn't yours to begin with, right? So that's really, it's a very insanely low-risk thing to do, while being highly rewarding in both fame and silver. If you told me years ago you could earn 1 million silver per hour and have one of the fastest fame farms in the game, I'd be like, there's no way that you're getting both at the same time. That's impossible. But it is, and so that's why I'm ranking this at number 1 for silver earning, simply because it grows your character. It makes your character stronger for PvP. You're making 1 million silver per hour. The risk is so insanely low, and it's also the most fun activity currently in the game. Every streamer is doing it. Even those Black Zone guys with all the big guilds, like when they're not doing guild fights, they're just in the orange zones. Everyone is in the orange zones. Everyone's doing it. The open world is completely dead now because everyone's simply in there. The rewards are good. The fame is good. It's fun. And even if you don't have 2 other people to play with, you can still get by as a solo because people are generally pretty bad. But if you run into a healer comp, I haven't figured out how to beat them yet. I don't think they're beatable as a solo, really. Number 2 is market flipping. Market flipping is when you just go to the market and you buy stuff for cheap, and then you just sell it for more. And let's look at some of my stuff right now. A lot of things that I have on buy order are for crafting, because I have a chef character. For instance, like you see these potatoes, I'm buying them at 361. And let's see if I have any schnapps for sale. I don't know if they've already sold through. Have they? let's see, real quick. Okay, they have not sold through, but I'm selling potato schnapps at 400 each, and essentially I can focus craft potato schnapps as a max level potion crafter. I know this is not so much flipping but crafting, but crafting and flipping go hand in hand. You can see I have max level bootlegger, but I also have max level potions across the board. So I can take 999 potatoes and make 1,400 something potato schnapps, or even more. I think it's 1,580 or something, right? I forget the exact math, but if I focus craft potatoes at 360 each, I can sell the potato schnapps at 400 each. That's free profit. That's free money, just for buying something cheap and then making it into something else. So that's a basic flip. Buy something cheap, craft it into something more expensive. But at the same time, if I just resold these potatoes, like let's say I'm not a crafter, I could buy these potatoes at 361 each and then sell them back to the market at 412 each, and that's free money too, right? And so you just kind of do that with as many things as you can. For instance, here's the thing, like, I have a favorite PvP set. It's the Flamewalker staff. So what I can do is I can offer to buy these Flamewalker staffs at a pretty cheap price from someone that just killed somebody, grabbed a staff, and then they just want to quick sell it because people are lazy. They will hit that quick sell button, and because I'm at the top of the listing, it will sell it to me. Now, this staff technically is worth 2 million, right? And I'm offering to buy it for 162,000, and let me just kind of show you the results using my bank overview. So I've been doing this in every town, right? So here's Brazilian. Look how many Flamewalker staffs I've got so far. Look how many face scale robes I've got so far. These Calipurities, I think, like, I bought this Calipurity for like 9,000 silver. It's worth 176,000, okay? And now I can just sell these back on the market and people will buy them because they use them all the time for PvP. Or I could double down, essentially, and put these on as a PvP set and go kill players that are lesser geared than me. And the Flamewalker staff's it's literally the top PvP weapon, in my opinion, for solo mists. And again, this guide is for solo play, because it has double mobility, high burst, ranged attacks. It's very tricky weapon to fight with and against. So yeah, it's I can essentially get more profit by, you know, buying my PvP sets on the cheap. But if I don't feel like PvPing, then I can just sell the stuff back. And looking at more flips here, again, these are things that I buy orders for, and I have these in every town, not just Bridgewatch, but every town. And then you'll notice sell orders. I have a whole lot of limestone here, and right now I am the top seller. I want to talk about limestone here. Now, technically it is and it isn't a flip. Now, earlier this morning, limestone blocks were going for about 43. They were down in the dumps. Like, they were, like you can see on this day, the average price was 35 silver. I'm selling at 76. While I didn't buy on this day, I could have bought when the market was on a dip, right? But just earlier today, like, the average price, like, these things were down, like, in they were like 50s or 60s, I forget exactly. But right now, mine are the cheapest on the market at 76. So I had a bunch listed, right? I had a whole bunch of these listed, and I did not budge my price. I set them at 76 days, like 3 days ago, right? You can see it's been almost 3 days since I've listed these for sale. And, you know, they're constantly selling because, again, I'm the one offering them for the cheapest amount. So market flipping is something you just learn over time. And as far as these blocks, well, you know, I waited for a 20% stone day and refined them for free, which you know, I put buy orders in for limestone. Like, you can gather it yourself, sure, but that's trading time for money. We're talking about flipping right now. So if I went to limestone, right, and went to buy order, right, and you can see there's a bunch here. Like, these will get filled pretty quick, right? But you know, you go back multiple days, you know, I'm buy ordering it for like 40, 45, 46. And then I'm refining it, you know, getting 30 to 40% back. No focus refining, just waiting on that bonus day. And then I'm selling the blocks for 76 each. So I basically doubled my money just by being patient. Once you learn how to flip, you just make infinite money over time passively without having to actually play the game. It's insane. It's ridiculous. And I've already done most of the work. However, if I put out all my flipping videos publicly, the markets would crash, everyone would do it, and then no one can do it. So how do you flip without, you know, making it super public? Well, I have what's called channel memberships. Right below this video, there's a join button. It's $5 a month. You get access to these private personal videos that are too good for the public. Look, I have, like, just a day ago, new meta for min-maxing. 2 days ago, easy flip for a few months, mostly AFK. Some quick info on a profit method. The reason why the titles are so vague is that so someone can't open the video and determine what it is. That's why they have no thumbnails. That's why there's nothing on the screen. We talk about the best fame farm here. Here's 3 weeks ago, I warned people to sell a certain item before a patch because the price is going to dip massively. And it did. All right. You know, there was a big thing where all these content creators made a video about how to farm hidden treasures, but they did it in a stupid way. I have a way more efficient and faster and lazier way of doing that in this video. There's so many members. Look at the scroll bar on the right. Look how small this is. There's so much stuff, and it's relevant. If it's not relevant, the title will say that it's been patched or it's irrelevant. And again, this keeps going. This thing, like, I keep scrolling, this thing keeps going, right? There's so much info here. All you got to do, you know, become a channel member for 1 month, watch the videos, and then after that, if you think it's still useful to be a channel member after that, you don't have to keep paying the $5. Once you have the info, you have the info, right? I mean, you'll have to pay the $5 to rewatch the video, but once you learn it, you don't have to keep going. However, if you want to support me, then you can remain a channel member, especially for new videos. There's some people, they'll be a channel member and then they'll wait 2 to 3 months. They'll re-up their channel membership, watch all the videos that have been put out. But some of them are time sensitive, so you might miss out on a really big juicy one. I'm just telling you, but I don't shill in my videos. I don't tell you to buy cheap, stupid VPNs. I don't tell you to buy vitamins or crap or anything that some shill in an email tells me to sell you. That's how I keep these videos shill-free. Thank you so much. Anyway, real quick, let's talk about gathering. Gathering is something where you trade your time for silver, and it's a pretty good trade. When you have Tier 8 gear unlocked, that means Tier 8 Avalonian Tool, Tier 8 Gathering Garbs and whatnot, you can make 1 million silver per hour, no premium, completely safe in blue zones. You can just turn off your brain, click, you know, resource nodes, watch anime on your other monitor. It's great. It's good. It's awesome. Now, brand new characters can't make that amount. I actually made a new character and tried to do a speed run to make 1 million silver, you know, on a brand new character, just gathering. As in, as soon as you leave Tutorial Island, you go get, you know, your basic gathering tools, level up to Tier 4 gathering, get your gathering set, and go gather. And I was making about 250,000 silver an hour. And on that brand new character, they do have the 3 days of premium. So that is actually with premium. So if you are a new character without premium and you're stuck in Tier 4 gathering, you're going to make less than 200,000 an hour. Like, it sucks starting out. But that's why I've always told every person ever on my new player guides, if they're starting the game and they want to be self-sufficient, gathering is the way to go. Dump your learning points into one gathering node and just stick with it to Tier 8 and then pump that sucker up. It'll make dividends later. But if you're a new character and you accidentally blew all your learning points on a combat node tree or something, you're in for a rough time on silver generation, bro. It sucks. So I know there's players out there that completely never gathered in their life. They completely skipped this part of the game. But to me, you know, if I have like a whole season of anime I want to binge, or like a new movie comes out and I want to watch it or something on, you know, home video, of course, then gathering is what I do to keep my hands busy while I watch a movie or a stream or a YouTube video or something. So again, don't pass up gathering. It's great money once you level it up. And yeah, it takes time. It takes learning points, but, you know, it's an MMORPG. You're in it for the grind. You're in it for the long-term hours, essentially. So islands and laborers aren't exactly a silver per hour calculatable thing. Kinda, sorta. Essentially, they just multiply whatever it is you do in the game. So for instance, I just talked about gathering, and look at all my gathering tomes. I have so many filled, and let's see, I have 582 gamekeeper journals filled, and if I was to give one of these to a skinning laborer here, gamekeeper, I would get 57 rugged hide returned to me at 76 each. So that is 3,952. And then I had how many journals? 500 something. I've already forgot the number. I have, yeah, 582 filled. Then that's 2.3 million silver just from having the journals and having the laborers, okay? And yeah, there's a little bit of an upfront cost to get this all started, but when you have multiple islands, multiple laborers, and you do a lot of gathering, it pays dividends. It pays for itself over time. You're going to be making way more silver gathering, and it's not just gathering. If you just want a fame farm, well, there's mercenary journals. I have these tier 8 mercenary journals. I have 15 of them, right? And so with if I turn this into a mercenary laborer, I can get back anywhere from 6.5 thousand silver to 13,000 silver. Essentially, the way mercenaries work, long story short, is this percent yield here is a percent chance to double. So I have a 45% chance to get 13,168 silver. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, I can fill 15 of these journals in minutes. In like just a few minutes, I can fill all 15 of these. Now, obviously, tier 8 mercenary journals and tier 8 laborers and guild halls and tier 8 beds and these spy glasses and all the trophies and stuff, all this costs a ton of money. It costs a lot of money to set up, okay? So if I had the capital or the patience, yes, I could have 100 islands with 15 mercenary, journals, or 15 mercenary laborers each, and then I could spend an hour filling up the journals, and then essentially I would be making, 9,000 times 15 times, 150? No, it'd be 1,005. Yeah, it's millions of silver, essentially, right? But it also costs millions of silver to set up. A whole lot of silver, especially tier 8. So tier 8 is not really the best example, but you don't have to do tier 8. You can do tier 4. You can do tier 4 mercenary, journals. And I'll show you what that kind of looks like. I'll just go to a random island on my list here, and this is just Bridgewatch Island. Let's go to Belly Sniffer's Island. What a funny name, Belly Sniffer. Who sniffs bellies? I don't know. Why would you sniff a belly? There's no, sweat gland. Are there sweat glands? Probably. But look, this is just a crappy little tier 4 island. We have tier 4 houses on it, and inside there's a couple mercenary laborers. I throw in the journal, I make some silver, and again, you fill the journals killing mobs, and if you're killing mobs in safe zones, there's no risk, so it's literally free silver, alright? But islands also have another thing, and that would be crop growing, and I want to talk a little bit about that as well. Mainly because crop growing is generally not something you can make a profit off of. I'm going to show you all the math on how to determine this yourself. So you can use personal islands, you cannot use guild islands. This means at some point you will have to have at least a 7 days worth of premium on a character, but or have had premium in the past. It's not something a free-to-play player can essentially effectively reach unless they pay the silver cost of premium, which right now is 30 million on West. Yikers, man. Also, for anyone wondering, why do I only have 2.38 million in my inventory? Bro, I have literal billions of silver. I mean, do you want me to show you real quick? Alright, so here I have 970 million, which I have way more if you want to see it. And look, now I have 2.35 billion silver, okay? I have money. I am not a brokey. But I like to keep it safe, so I don't carry much with me. It also limits my spending. It's, that way if this character suddenly goes offline for some reason, like Nizori gets mad that I beat up a streamer or something, which I haven't done this year. Don't ban me again. Alright, but, I want to make sure that my other characters can use that money if they need to. Anyway, let's talk about crop growing. I'm going to show you all the math. Now, generally, if you do not have premium... Bandit Assault begun, by the way, guys. If you don't have premium and you don't have focus, crop growing is generally a terrible, bad, awful, gross idea that you should never do. However, I'm going to show you the math on it. And there's two ways to do the math here. So you have a farming merchant on your island, and they sell seeds. All right, so right now I have 1 bag of crenellated burdock seeds. It says estimated market value 8,136. I can buy these from the vendor infinitely as much as I have money for 8,670 each. So keep that number in mind. Or I can order it from the market, and oh, someone overcut me. Look at it's just they're doing it by 1. I'm not gonna worry about 1 seed. But right now I'm offering to pay 5,547, And people will sell it to me at that price when they have an overabundance of seeds. So let's keep that number in mind. Now we have some burdock planted in our field here. And you'll notice we have a seed yield without watering it of 73.33%. So while the math I'm going to show you is not exactamundo, it's good enough to determine if something will profit or not. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the percent of losing the seed, which is 26.67% chance, and then we're going to subtract that from the seed cost. So essentially what this means is that because we have a high chance of getting the seed back, it technically lowers the overall cost of the seed itself. But, you know, after, like, say, 1 million plants, these numbers would normalize out. If you just do it one time and get lucky, obviously that's not gonna, the math is gonna be off. But over 1 million times of doing this, the math should be in line. So what this means, all right, is that the actual real cost of planting the crenellated burdock, if I buy from the vendor, is 6,358 silver, and the cost from the buyouts, or by orders, is 4,068 silver. So now we have to determine how much profit can we make from crenellated burdock. And if you look on the screen here, we have an average product yield of 6 to 12. And I'll show you with a calculator. The easiest way to do an average, you should have learned this in elementary school, I hope. All right, I don't know what they teach the kids these days. But what you do, you do the two numbers, the two averages. So we have 6 is the lowest, plus 12, which is the highest, equals 20 or equals 18. Okay, not 20. Anyway, so we have 6 plus 12 equals 18. Now, because we have two numbers, we're going to divide that by 2. All right, and that is 9. That is an average of 9. The other way to do this without having to do math is just count up and count down from the bottom and the top and meet in the middle. So 6 plus 3 is 9, 12 minus 3 is 9, okay? So we average 9 crenellated burdock per plant, and now that we know how much it costs to plant the seed, we can determine if 9 crenellated burdock is going to make us our money back. So the simple way to do this is you take your crop price, you multiply it by 9, and you get a number. And if that number is higher than the seed cost, you profit. So what I'm going to do now is we have our numbers 6358 and 4068, and let's just pick a random crop. Okay, let's say comfrey. I know we're not growing comfrey, but okay, comfrey is a bad one. Let's try dragon teasel. Okay, that's another. Crops are a little insane right now. Okay, how about mullein? All right. No, really? Ghost, not ghost hemp. Hold on. The word I was looking for was ghoul, not ghost. Okay, so we have ghoul yarrow at 488, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply 488 times 9, and that is 4,392. All right, so that means if we buy order the seeds, we make a tiny bit of profit, but that's such a low amount of profit that I wouldn't waste time. I just wouldn't waste time growing this. I could just go kill mobs or gather and make more silver per hour, really, right? But let's look at the actual cost right now on the market for burdock. All right, so burdock is, look at the burdock, 962. All right, and it's funny. I've been monitoring this for about 3 weeks now, and this price has not dipped. It dipped earlier today to about 700. People bought it instantly. I don't know what's going on with burdock and Bridgewatch, but let's do the math. And we can even cut it down to 961 times 9, 8,649. Well, look at that. If we bought the seeds from the vendor, we're profiting 2,000 silver per plot and almost 4,000 silver per plot with the buy orders. And I got the seeds from the buy order. So now let's do some bigger math. All right, so let's go over the math here. So 9 burdock, all right, is going to sell for 8,649. We subtract the cost of growing the burdock with the buy ordered seeds. So I make a profit per square of 4,581 silver. All right, this is without premium, without crop watering or anything. If I watered the crops and had premium active, the numbers would spike exponentially. Technically, I've already done the math prior, and if I had Like, I could buy 2 premiums. But I don't expect these Burdock prices to stay. One day they're going to tank, and after this video, people might start tanking the price back down. I don't know. We'll see. So, but normally the price is not this high. So this is just an anomaly that you would take advantage of if you see it for a few days, and then you move on, all right? But anyway, so I have 44 plots that I am currently growing Burdock on, and each plot has 9 squares that I can plant in. So 44 times 9 is 396, and if each square makes me a profit of 4,581, that means that every single day I can use my islands to just get 1.8 million silver for free. And yes, crops take 21 hours to grow. Now, if I watered this, I would get double yield, by the way. So this would be 3.6 something million, right? But at the same time, when you water a crop, you always get the seed back, and you sometimes get extra seeds. So technically, it would be even more than that. It would be, it's like 60 million divided by 30. So it's about 2 million. No, that's wrong. Maybe not. I don't know. But it's quite a lot. It's a huge amount of profit. No, that would be after the cost of premium, so 90 million. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, the point is, this video is not about having premium and not about having focus, so we're just going to leave it at that for now. The profit's 200 million a month right now. At those prices, it's 200 million. Okay, it's 170 after the cost of premium. Whatever. The point is that price is not there to stay. That is just a market anomaly. And you may be thinking, but Soul Bidgy, yeah, what if you grow crops on the bonus thingy, right? And so right now, I'll explain. In Bridgewatch, the bonus for growing crops is corn and dragon teasel. All right, and you get 10% more, okay? 10% more of 9 is maybe 1 sometimes, okay? Not always. So you would just add 1 extra crop. You'd make it 10 instead of 9. That's the quick way to do the math. And with premium, you know, it would be 19 to 20 instead of 18. But it is what it is. So number 6 is crafting, and crafting is pretty simple. Instead of straight up buying the material or the item that you want from the market and, you know, whatever, sometimes it's cheaper just to craft the item. So for instance, I have this Adept's Ghastly Candle. This is used to make a Crypt Candle. So let's look at the profits real quick or possibilities. So we have this Ghastly Candle is a material to make the Crypt Candle. It costs 43.297, you know, silver. 43k silver, essentially, right? To make a 4.3 Crypt Candle, I need 4 pine planks and 4 cloth, also 4.3. So, if each plank is worth 8.5k, 8.5 times 2, that's 17,000 there, essentially, right? That's for 2, but we need 4. Okay. So that's 34,000 silver, and then the cloth is about the same price. Actually, a little bit more expensive. 9,600 makes it 38. So we have like 38,000. You know, we have 43,000. That's 70,000, and then another 30 to 40,000. That's 100,000. Well, the Crypt Candle is only worth 105,000. So if I were to craft this, technically right now I wouldn't be making a profit. However, if I craft it with some return rate, I might get back some of these planks and cloth, maybe just 1 if I'm not focus crafting, so that would save about 17,000, meaning I could probably craft this for about 10,000 cheaper than buying it straight up, which means I could make maybe a small amount of profit, but there is taxes, all right? So if I'm not using an alt character with premium active, I'm paying full taxes, and taxes are about 8 to 9%, and so that means that 10k I'm saving, I might only make 1,000 silver in profit. But then there's also the fact that you use journals and laborers to get back some of that, you know, loss from crafting. And it's way too much for me to go into in this video. That's why I have another video. And I can tell that the player base just hates crafting and they hate doing math homework, but that's okay because this video here, it's called Albion Online, the actual way to profit with crafting without spreadsheets, full crafting guide. It's 58 minutes long. It's time-stamped, so you can have crafting versus enchanting gear, ways to save on PvP expenses by crafting. The risk of black market crafting, I show that off as well. There's a lot of money to be made with black market stuff if you're willing to risk it. All right. The good and bad examples of high volume price crafting for raiders, smugglers, hideouts, black zone players, etc. So this thing, like, there's numbers on the screen that explain all the cost of how to craft things, focus crafting. It's a full deep dive into it. I show examples with and without focus, so that if you don't have premium, again, it's totally there for you. This video really didn't get a lot of views for some reason. Again, people just don't like crafting, but I don't want to fill up this video with a video I've already made, essentially. So number 7 is tracking. Now, here's the thing with tracking. I, from personal experience, cannot tell you how much silver per hour this makes, as I have not delved deep enough into it for long enough with enough data, so I am unable to give you an absolute number or good examples. However, I have studied from other people how much they make doing this, and people with around level 80 to 90 tracking, and that tracking, for those that don't know, it's right here on that Destiny board. You go to Trainee Tracker, and they have Season Tracker around level 70 or 80, so they can use the Tier 7 tracking toolkit. They go into the black zones, and they do solo tracking, hunting down monsters, and I don't know the level of their specialization. They never shared that with me, but they're using a gear set worth about 4 million silver, and they're only making, with premium, about 700,000 silver an hour doing it. So, you know, that's their word and their numbers that they showed me, and they showed me videos, and they showed me, you know, what they do and how they do it and stuff, and I'm like, okay, 700k an hour sounds pretty crappy with premium and with all of, like, you have to level up tracking like crazy to get it to that high. And it's still difficult, and it's highly risky because it's in the black zone. You're fighting mobs that blow up the whole screen with AoE spells. If another player rides up on you and sees you doing it, you're just a free meal ticket for them. I looked at the players' kill death history, and they had died multiple times with that 4 million set, meaning that they weren't even really technically profiting because of how many times they died, but they were just dead set on maxing out tracking. And so maybe there is a way to make it more profitable. But the person's set they were using was like, it was expensive, it was very deadly, they were killing the mob as quick as possible, in my opinion, and as safe as possible, so they had that part min-maxed, and because the kill speed was min-maxed, and the numbers they gave me was without gankers, without being interrupted, because they were in a guild with guild protection, you know, they had people in Discord roaming the zone, making sure they weren't getting ganked, and as a solo player, you don't have any of those luxuries. So that's really my take on tracking. I would just avoid this one. So solo and group dungeons, these are honestly not worth doing for money. You can, like, if you speedrun a solo dungeon with full 8-4 gear, and you are not item power capped in these dungeons, so you can use the best possible gear to do them, even mapped dungeons. I have made as low as 80,000 silver an hour doing solo dungeons. I've made as high, currently, with the current patch, 440,000 silver an hour doing solo dungeons. That sucks. The fame is awful. The fame is garbage. It's not fun. You don't get anything for it. The loot is terrible. It's nerfed old, ancient, legacy content that you should not be doing anymore. If you're going to do a group dungeon, just do the Abyssal Depths. It's better fame. It's better loot. There is no reason to do group dungeons in save zones in 2025. Unless they buff something, the numbers just aren't there. Avoid these activities. So corrupted dungeons, I can make around 700,000 to 800,000 silver an hour, but they are kind of popping right now. Maybe after a few months when things die down and you play on off hours, you might be able to make more. The loot is buffed. However, the loot is still worse than the Abyssal Depths with all the risk. It's full loot. And you need 4.2 equivalent gear to go into them. You're only going to be fighting meta players with meta builds, and even if you win, you don't really get that much. You get like 40 to 100,000 silver if you win a fight. So you're silver per hour. You're better off breaking crystals and not flagging up for PvP. You know, at the little tower thing at the start of the dungeon. So again, just avoid. I have not tried Slayer dungeons. Those are even more metafied, and you could clear them in about the same time. That I have not done enough. I just know you need higher tier gear to do it, and so the cost doesn't really, to me, the cost isn't worth it. But I don't have data on Slayer corrupted dungeons. Perhaps they are profitable, and My take with Corrupted Dungeons is you can either play a meta PvP build and fight other meta sweat lords, because chances are you're not going to fight someone not using a meta set, or you run a full PvE speed clear set, hope you don't get invaded, and if you do, hope that you break crystals before they kill you and take all the stuff that you accumulated. It sucks, it's unfun. The only time I win Corrupted Dungeons against sweat lords is when I have a 10-minute standoff where I force them to run into a room full of mobs, and I can fight them when they have like 70% HP gone from being tagged by all the mobs. I will sit in a corner and push A and wait 10 minutes to teleport out and force them to come in and fight me, and they lose their 40k set. I lose 10 minutes of my time. You know, it sucks. It's not fun. It's really not that great at all. Now, there's people that say PvP is profitable, and yeah, there are some people that can make it work, but mathematically, if you were to go out and fight people of the same set, of the same value of set, due to the game's trash rate, you would need a 75 to 80% win rate ratio to profit, and the profits wouldn't even be that much at that ratio. You would need an even higher amount, okay? And so, using that Killboard website, you can absolutely check your favorite streamers and top PvPers to see if they're profiting or not profiting that day. I made an entire PvP guide video that talks about how you can maximize profits with PvP by using rat sets and using all-in cheap sets that just blow up someone who's wounded in a mist. There's really not a lot of ways to profit in PvP in like just the open world black zone, because as a solo guildless player, you are always outnumbered. Every single person you encounter is going to have like 4 to 5 friends in Discord, a guild backing them up, guild hideouts. It's miserable. It's generally not something you make money off of. And solo transport ganking in yellow zones is completely dead due to item power cap nerfs. And in doing it in a black zone, you have to have a very expensive set. And chances are, if you see a transporter, every single red zone ganking scout bot has also seen it, and they will just kill you for it anyway. They're not going to loot split with you. They're just going to kill you, and they have more people than you, and they have better gear than you, and they have more bots. Preferably you don't bot, but they have scout bots and radar hacks and stuff, and it's just not worth it. PvP for silver, not worth it in this game. I know people are like, this is a PvP game, and if you play this game, you should only PvP, and PvP is the blah, 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 blah. No, okay? It's a sandbox. You play however the hell you want, and I like to make profit. I like to make progress. That means I like to level up my character. I like to see them get stronger. I like to see them get more money. I like to see their gear get better, okay? That's why I play MMORPGs, all right? I don't play it to play a League of Legends 1-on-3 fight where I might kill someone and then eventually die, basically donating my loot to them. It's not... For the general public, for the general masses, I don't care if you're a Challenger level League player, so am I. Diamond 1 in Challenger, Season 2, Talon, alright? I know how to play MOBAs, alright? And yes, I can technically profit in PvP. Most people can't. Most people won't. It's very luck-based. It's very time investment-based. You will see these people, they'll play like solo miss 16 hours a day, and they will lose money. 16 hours a day, they're losing money, right? Sometimes they get lucky. They find a juicer. They find a credit card warrior. They find what's called a whale. Someone that buys into the game, buys the best gear. They don't know what they're doing. They're free loot, baby. Yes, it happens. It does not consistently always happen, so just be aware of that. Number 11 is transporting, and there's the risk version and the no risk version. I'm going to do the risk version to show you how much time it takes and about how much money we can make. Let's spend 123,000 buying these ritual candles to take to Caerleon. Why not? All right. And I know the way I'm transporting this is incredibly stupid and risky, but I'm just trying to prove a point here. So right now I'm risking 134,000 silver. That is the cost of the ox, the cost of these ritual candles, and the plate armor, so that I'm slightly harder to dismount, but a coordinated group's going to kill me anyway, even if I was naked. It doesn't matter. So I'm going to start a timer, and I'm going to ride to Caerleon, and we'll see what happens. I'm not going to obviously record the entire thing. I'm just going to keep the timer running while I get there. And yes, I know that you can do this during bandit events if you want to blob up and be slightly safe. Not everyone wants to wait for an event to do a thing. Channel members actually have a very clever way of doing exactly what I'm doing right now. It's almost completely 100% safe. It's not guaranteed, but it's mostly safe. it's just one small, simple trick that you can do to fly under the radar of the gank squads and their scout bots. Whereas right now, you know, my name's Solbenchi. I'm on every scout bot list. I'm basically red equals dead to every gank group, regardless if I'm transporting. But there's some precautions you can do so that their scout bots cannot pick you up and ping their Discord servers. Alright, I have passed by 4 scout bots, 2 gankers, there's 3 waiting up ahead. Let's see if we make it, right? We're 6 minutes in, and, well, okay, I guess they're after someone else. There's also a bandit event going on right now, so generally the gank groups don't really move around as much during this time, but I'm also playing not only on the slowest day of the week, I'm also playing at the slowest time. So, again, I had all of that working towards me, so I did manage to make it into Caerleon in about 7 minutes. And, you know, again, I could have transported way more for a bigger profit. This is just a very basic transporting example of trading time and risk as a solo guildless player for money. So let's see how much we make. Well, if we sell the 200 ritual candles, we make 184,000. So very cool there. And then we will sell the ox. You know, I'll just do we'll say that's 9k, and then we'll say that's 3.5. So 12k plus 184k. Let's see. So we made 196, and we spent 134. So we made 62,000 silver essentially in 7 minutes. So in this example, I could do this about 8 times, assuming I don't die at all. And dying would dramatically reduce the the amount of earnings that you get. But and I could have hauled twice as many. So technically, this can, you know, just what I did. If I had 400 ritual candles instead of 200, it'd be about $1 million an hour. But at only 200 candles with low risk, I'm only making 496,000 silver an hour. So again, you could there's many different things you can transport. It doesn't have to be just ritual candles or trinkets. It could be items, food, materials, gear. There's an infinite amount of ways to profit with transport. You can even transport things through save zones if you want, right? Like, for instance, earlier we talked about burdock, you know, growing burdock. Well, you don't have to grow the burdock. You could just go to another town and haul it on over, and they'll buy it, right? That's one thing you can do. There's so many different ways to profit with transporting. This is just one example, and you may be wondering, well, Swobidgy, what about faction heart transporting? Okay, so currently, due to the item power nerfs, it's a super safe activity, especially on a bear, and also with the patch, it's currently bugged, so people can't even tell if you're doing a heart transport anymore, which is really dumb. It's really stupid. So the chances of a faction flagged player ganking you on a bear is like none. Like there's not roaming groups for this stuff anymore, right? So essentially, yeah, you could make money doing it, and it's rather safe, and it's pretty brainless. But it's not the safest activity, but at the same time, the profits for the time spent is so low, it's worse than solo dungeoning. And doing a faction heart transport, you're not building your character, you're not leveling up anything. It's by far one of the worst activities that you can do, and you should never do it, honestly. Alright, and I'm going to show you a faction heart transport mission anyway, despite all my warnings. So here we go, we're going to go to a Martlock contract. This costs 15 beast hearts, so this is costing me 674,985 silver, and I'm only going to get back 19 of these bad boys. And so I'm going to go ahead and accept it. Now I have the heart transport started, and then what I'm going to do now is we're going to start the timer and see how long it takes me to get there. And again, it's relatively safe. There's no floating boxes around me. When people click on me, they won't see that I'm doing a heart transport mission. There's no tell at all that I'm on a heart transport mission. The only thing is that if someone inspects me, they're going to see that I'm in full plate with an Aegis. And I also have this life touch staff because this pretty much makes me unkillable. I have this helmet so I can Spider-Man away with the ability. It's just a movement speed helmet, right? Like, there's other helmets I could use, but generally I feel pretty safe in this set. I don't even need the pork pie, really. I just have it just in case, but my carry weight is at 70%, so it wasn't even necessary. I could use something more defensive, but this is by far one of the fastest mounts with good carry weight, so my time is going to be much better than most people's time doing heart transports. One thing to note is there is no more shield. Used to, when you would enter this, you would get a bubble protecting you, but it is not there. I don't know why they changed all this stuff. We're going to go ahead and give the items, and now we're invisible, and we have the boxes here, but when we zone to the next area, it's going to be gone, so yeah. You can see here, no floating boxes around me, no tooltip under my name, no buff, nothing. No one knows I'm doing a heart transport. It's so safe now for some reason. And I would say, well, if you're the ganker and they don't get a bubble when they enter the faction heart vendor anymore, just camp there and blow anyone up that's faction flag that comes into it. But the problem is that it's a safe zone. Your item power is heavily limited, and they're going to be on a bear. You can't dismount a bear, and you before the item power nerfs the soft cap, like even with the best possible gear, you can maybe dismount a bear after 2 to 3 passes. But they're going to be able to get that invulnerability shield when they talk to the NPC. They're going to go invisible. You're just not going to get them on a bear. Now, if they're on an ox, and you know, have a gank set, a dismount set, you might be able to do it. You might be able to do it with the item power caps. But you can see here, like, this guy, he's not faction flagged, so he's not doing a faction transport. He's just doing a regular item transport. And like this guy, he's just doing a regular item transport. Again, regular transporting is going to make you more money than this faction heart transporting without any of the risk. Now, we got a couple guys here, and one way to see if they might be a bot, a transport bot, is to just check out their stats. So this guy's got 3 million fame, so probably not a bot, but this guy, Dr. Improve, 1 million fame, I don't know. Probably not a bot either, but if you look at someone's stats and they're doing a heart transport and they have like the bare minimum fame to equip an ox, then they might be a bot. Also, if they stay on the road, like they're on rails, kind of like these dudes are, these guys might actually be botting. I don't, it's very hard to tell, but I think there's still money to be made here if you can catch them on oxes and not bears. But almost all serious botters are using bears anyway, so what can you really do? All right, here we are back in town, and this took about 13 minutes. This, if we rounded it down to 12 minutes, you know, that fits into 60, so we might do that. But you can see it took quite a while. It's a pretty long trip. We returned the we got 19 of the mountain hearts, or rock hearts. I'm sorry, mountain is Fort Sterling. So yeah, whoops, whatever. Anyway, so now if we sell these, you'll notice. We get 786 111. So because it's about a 13-minute trip on the faster, less safer boar mount, all right, we can do this about 4.615 times an hour. So if you just take that number, multiply it by the profit, we make 500K an hour doing this, which sucks. It's terrible. It's awful. And if you get downed at all, if you get like your internet disconnects or the power goes out and someone ganks you, again, you know, faction ganks you, you lose all the hearts. So in order to, you have to successfully do this at least twice, and then if you get ganked, you still kind of make up for it. And boy, I used to sit for hours at choke points and just gank. All right? It is not a safe activity. It's absolutely not safe to do. You shouldn't do it. And there's no telling whenever this stuff will get unpatched so that they will be identified again, or if the item power caps get messed with so that we have full power again in yellow zones. You never know, right? You just you can't sit around and do this. This is a botted activity. The only people doing this are bots. It does not grow your character. It doesn't do anything. So you shouldn't do this for silver. Just never do this. I'm putting this here because there is a Albion channel that is. Here's the thing. I'm not going to name the names, but there is an Albion Online YouTube channel, and it's completely made up by some corporate entity that doesn't even play this game, that has no idea what they're talking about, and they put out like a tier list or something about silver making, and they put like arena. They put arena at like A tier or some bullshit. Let me tell you the math on arena, crystal arena, whatever you want to call it. If you queue up as a healer and you win every single match in 5 minutes, okay? 5 minutes minimum. Like, the time it takes you to queue up, enter the arena, and completely clean sweep the enemy while playing a healer. And after you win 3 times, you can't get the reward, so you swap characters, and you do that again. So you got 15 minutes, 30, 45, and 60. So you have 4 healer characters, all separate, and you pull the resources together. You know how much silver you're making per hour doing this? Again, you're winning every match completely clean sweeped, right? You're making 480,000 silver an hour. That's it. That's all you're making. So no, this is not an A-tier activity. This is a shit-tier activity. And these corporate entity YouTube channels that aren't an actual person that plays the game, they're just some rich guy somewhere that hired people, probably through his crypto earnings, to have editors and people make guides for a game because, oh, it's being hyped up by Twitch streamers right now, so let's throw some money at it, see where it goes, see if it grows a YouTube channel. There's so many people that hire, like, corporations, rich people, that they don't play video games, they don't even know video games, but they just know that a YouTube channel is profitable. So they throw money to have a YouTube channel created that they own that generates revenue, and then they hire people to run it and maybe play the game, but most likely not play the game. And so when you see a channel with extremely highly edited content where they're just talking out of their ass, they're not talking with passion or conviction, they're just saying things to say things for SEO search reasons. They're like, okay, today's video is about, except they're not like that. They're like, whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Today's video is about farming silver. Right, with bells and whistles and big flashes and everything. And then you get into the video, and it's some AI voice over. It's not even a real person. It's just an AI voice. And the spellings are really weird and off and not first English language spelling. You're like, something's off here. And they just give the most generic, boring, bland, do-nothing advice that sounds good. But when someone puts Arena A tier for silver making, bullshit, freaking call that out immediately. That's false. It's fake. It's fake, bro. They don't even play the game. They're check their YouTube tax code area. It's so sad to see. You hate to see it, and I hate that it exists, but that's the world we live in, and I will call them out. You guys know I'm a real guy. I'm just a guy that makes videos, okay? I'm not some corporate entity. I'm not some business, okay? I'm just a dude doing this until the world ends, all right? So let's talk about mob grinding. This is a tier 8 quality 5 black zone. I have a set worth 183,000. This is a tier 6 maximum spec set. We have a very basic mob here. We're just going to kill it as fast as we freaking can. All right, and pick up the silver. All right, so here we go. And what I'm going to do is determine how fast I kill this creature, this person. Player, not player, but NPC. So 2,347 silver. All right, that's the number for us to remember. So this math is very, very estimative in the favor of killing the mobs. So here's the thing. In that clip, we killed the mob in 10 seconds. All right, that's a very fast mob kill. So that means we can kill 6 mobs a minute. Now, obviously, we're not going to farm that many a minute. There's no way. You know, the time it takes to mount up, ride to the next camp, find the mobs in general, kill them. And yes, there are camps you can kill multiple mobs at a time. And we would need a stronger set in a tier 8 quality 5 black zone to do so. But regardless, you know, this is a best case scenario where there's no one around, no gankers, no worrying about other players running into our puddles and trying to kill us. Essentially, we could farm 6 mobs a minute, 60 minutes in an hour, at 2,347 silver each, is only 844,920 silver an hour. So not even a million. And so all these Redditors be like, let's go to the black zone and kill mobs. It's good silver. It's good silver, dude. No, it's not. It is not good silver. What can be good silver is doing the mob camps. Yes, you can open a chest and you can get lucky. And I'm going to tell you right now, the mob camps are not nearly as profitable as the orange zone depths. The depths it's better than mist camps. It's better than Nightfall Abbey camps. It's better than everything currently in the game, so there's no point in even covering it. Number 15 is expeditions. Now, you can speed run these in about 2 minutes. Now, here's why you should or shouldn't do them. And if you're like a brand new player with absolutely nothing, you're going to have to make multiple characters to be able to make this an efficient farm. But because we can speedrun these in 2 minutes, even with garbage gear, you just get a nature staff, run through, aggro everything, blow it all up, heal yourself while you're doing it. It's the quickest, easiest thing ever. At the end of the expedition, you can only do 1 a day per character. You get a Royal Sigil bag, and most likely, percent-wise, you're going to get a Royal Sigil worth 20,000, a Tier 5 worth 33,000, or a Tier 6 also worth 33,000. So, yeah, they don't really go up that much in value, and the value really depends on how many new players are in the game, because there's a lot of new players right now. These things technically aren't worth 20,000. They're actually much less, but let's say they are 20,000 for future's sake. So 20,000 times 30, that's how many runs you could do in an hour, would be 600,000 silver. That's pretty good if you're a new player, but it's really bad compared to almost all the other methods. So I personally don't do it, but when I was a new player, I did do this method, and it was pretty nice. I would log into my alt characters and do an expedition, and then do like water crops and stuff. So if you have multiple characters and you're bored, it's something to do. It is money. It's just, if you have an established character that can gather or do literally anything else, then it is there's no reason to do it. Number 16 is holiday skin flipping, and this one is very maybe-ish. I would say this one's more of a gamble, but for instance, if we go to the market and we go to vanity, right, and we look at some vanity items, well, if I type Hallow, not Hellgate, I'm looking for the pumpkin ones, like, yeah, like the pumpkin heads, right? So you can get these during the October event. And, well, you can see there's literally none in the market on any of these. So there's one here for 10 million silver. Now, when you buy these skins during October, they're going to be 300k, 500k, maybe a million. So you buy a bunch of these, and then you wait. Like, right now, I'm filming this in July. So, you know, July is pretty close. Like, October's coming up. But if I put them on sale now, someone might not want to wait until October to acquire these, and they might just buy them now. But you can see, like, in 4 weeks, let's see, there was one sold there for 8 million, 2 sold for 6 million in there. So there's definitely, like, profit to be made, but you can only expect, you know, maybe 3 to 4 to 5 of these skins selling a month, all right? But it's a very patient thing, and as far as silver per hour goes, that's not something I can really calculate. So next up is Rune, Soul, and Relic gambling. You're going to have to do quite a bit of math to make sure that this is profitable, but we're just going to go ahead and spin the reel, so to speak. So let's buy 500 of these relics, or we'll go with 525 each. That's 269,000 spent. There we go. And yeah, let's go ahead and take all of those relics. 500, there we go. And we're going to go see if we make a profit. So you can see right now my estimated market value in my inventory is 260,000. And again, you would want to do the math on this. I have an entire video on how you can do the math. So just search the channel. But we're going to do relic gambling, and we have warrior, mage, hunter, and any. I'm going to do mage. Yeah, so here we go. Let's meld and see if we get anything. All right, we go from 260,000 estimated market value. Also, I just got a reward. That's a referral reward. Oh, dude, that hurts. Estimated market value went down to 129,000. So we just lost. We just lost half our worth. But did we? Did we? That's the question, right? So what I'm going to do is we're going to go and see if the market agrees with the estimated market value. So we're just going to see, let's see, that's 11k, boo, 8k, oh, like 26k, 30k on that one, 15. So yeah, this is a straight up heavy loss, heavy losses, right? But again, you would have to do the math to see if it's even worth doing, and law of averages, you want to buy cheap, preferably buy orders, and you want to make sure that you're rolling for an item that has a high worth. So let's go back now without gambling this time, and go to Relic for Mage, and see what is the big winner. You know, 9k, 7k, 9k for 81k. So we wanted Unholy Scrolls, right? Let's see, I think that's the only one. Yeah, Unholy Scroll, essentially, right? And that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 1 out of 9 chance to hit that. And we rolled, let's see, we rolled 10 times out of 1 out of 9. We'd have to hit it 3 out of 9 times to essentially break even, right? So, yeah, hitting 1 out of 9 that many times, I don't know. Again, you would have to do the math. But if we went to, let's say, Warrior, you know, 6K, 35, 10, 97 on that one. So that's pretty good. 50K on that one. So maybe we should have gambled Warrior here. But again, you'd have to add up all the numbers, do law of averages and so on. How about Hunter? 50, 50, 8, 40, 70. Again, you would just have to do the math. I didn't do the math. I just went in just because I didn't feel like touching on this subject too much. Again, I have videos that cover this topic extensively. Like, if you just type Albion Gamble, and I didn't even spell it right, there's at least 3 videos. Artifact Gambling is Crazy Silver. A new way to gamble on Albion Online, that's reward bags. That is the royal sigil. Like, that's all the percent chances on that. Here's another one for gambling runes, the easy way. All those videos explain and show the math. If you don't know how to search my channel, you click this little search button. Like, you go to the channel, Swole Benji, you type Albion, right? I can't spell, gamble, and then you just push enter, and boom, there you go. There's some videos. Reroll the riches, and that's how to reroll, you know, how to make money with rerolling and whatnot. There's so many different videos. Just type anything that you want to learn. So a similar but different thing would be crystal crafting, and this thing is not in the main towns, right? You actually have to go to wherever the Conqueror's Hall is, and I'll explain the whole process. A lot of people don't know you can do this, and sometimes it's free money. Sometimes it's not. It really depends on how many people are doing it. But right here is what's called the Energy Manipulator. You go to them, and then over here on the tab, there is, I forget if it's, yeah, it's Artifacts. You click the Artifacts one. So you'll see here in the Tier 4 category, you can turn 50 of these crystal shards into an artifact to make a crystal weapon. So what you have to do is determine, if I bought 50 crystals and turned it into one of these items, will I make money? Well, let's find out. So it looks like the cheapest one in Bridge Launch is 11,929 each, which is pretty expensive. So if I were to buy 50 of these, it's 596,000. So I'm going to tell you right now, not a single artifact in Tier 4 is going to cost that much. Yeah, so that's a huge no. You can check Tier 5, you can check Tier 6, Tier 7, Tier 8, and yeah, it's pretty much, again, sometimes it works out, sometimes it not, but you just gotta check the markets. And there's other similar transmutations, like transmuting items into higher tiers, you know, resources, fish sauce, and other things as well. But most of those are cornered, and you will almost never ever find profit doing these things, because some guy out there has a spreadsheet and an API, and then they've already scanned the market, and they're currently doing it as we speak. And for those that know what transmuting is, you can go to any refining station. For instance, I have this, if I wanted to take an 8.3 ore, I can pay 865,000 silver, and then it will give me an 8.4 ore in return. So is that worth it? So right now, 8.3 ore is 273,000 silver, okay? So if I'm paying 864, that'd be about 1.1, 1.2 million. We'll say 1.2 million, right? But the 8.4 ore is going at 1.3 million, so there is room to profit. However, does it normally sell at that amount is the question. And the answer is, it looks like sometimes. Yeah, someone bought like a whole week ago. It took a whole week to sell 14 of them at 1.3 million each, all right? And with the nerfs to the yellow zone, 8.4 items aren't being sold or bought nearly as much. But you would have to, you know, do some math and do some research and see if you can find a profit. But yeah, that's pretty much it for solo, guildless, safe, mostly safe silver farming. All right, I covered basically everything there is. Anyway, that's the video. Leave a comment. Not a lot of people commenting these days. I don't know what's going on. I've been going like half a day without a new comment. Please talk to me. I have no social life. Finally, click the video on the right side of your screen. If you do, you're gonna get an extra sauce packet or an extra nugget or an extra something next time you go out to eat.